All right. We're going to talk about, we talked about the African diaspora and really looking at who we are. We here in this country as African Americans, where we've come from, and the path that we traveled to get to where we are today. And what I'm going to do is go back a little further. We're going to go back and look at who is Israel. We're going to look at who Israel is. I had a young man ask me that question, and the simple answer I gave him initially was, you are. You're Israel. So what we want to just address is, what does Israel look like? You know, and I've done this particular lesson before, and it's really connecting Yahweh as being the king of this kingdom. We as being the people and the land that's associated. So if you think about it, it's kind of a simple mindset and a simple concept, and one that we're very familiar with. We live in a land that has a president. So you have the president, you have the people that live within that land, and you have the land itself. We're going to look at that same type of scenario from a biblical perspective. So, first thing we're going to read, and this just really jumped out at me. Didn't originally have this prepared to read, but just the flow of the service today is absolutely going to make this connect and tie in. So let's start out by going to Romans chapter 8. We're going to start at verse 18. Matter of fact, let's go to 16. Let's start at verse 16, and we're going to read down a little bit. Romans chapter 8, verse 16. And it reads, the Spirit Himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of Elohim. And if children, also heirs, truly heirs of Elohim, and co-heirs with Messiah. If indeed we suffer with Him, in order that we also be exalted together. For I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worth comparing with the esteem that is to be revealed in us. For the intense longing, I love the way they put that. The intense longing of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of Elohim. Hallelujah. For the creation was subjected to futility, but not from choice, but because of Him who subjected it, in anticipation that the creation itself also shall be delivered from the bondage to corruption into the esteemed freedom of the children of Elohim. For we know that all the creation groans together. All the creation, all the creation groans together and suffers the pains of childbirth together until now. And not only so, but even we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, we ourselves also groan within ourselves, eagerly waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body.
Hallelujah!
So, I mean, that's what's happening, mothers. That's what's happening. Your being is groaning. It's groaning for that. You know, it's like waiting in anticipation for the sons of Elohim to be revealed. That we will come to be who we are supposed to be. We will come to the position of our priesthood. Yes. That's what the world is waiting for.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Yahweh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That's what the world is waiting for. The sons of Elohim to be revealed. Yes. But first the sons got to figure out who they are.
Who they are.
Yes, who they are. So you have Israel. And sometimes we talk about Israel like a myth.
Right.
This, you know, this fairy tale that's in scriptures of past. What we have to realize is that Israel is real. Israel is real. Today, now, Israel is real.
Yes.
And there's the king. Yahweh is our king.
Yes, he is.
And the people, that is us. And then there's also the land. Yahweh has said that he has called that land to be. He said that land is for an inheritance for his people.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That we will be there in that land, a place of safety and protection.
Yes. Hallelujah.
In a place of provision. That's the importance of the Sabbath, because even if you can't physically be in the place, he has given us a place in time.
Yes.
He's given us a place in time that we can enter into the place that he has called us to be.
Hallelujah.
So there's just some things we want to know about Israel. One thing, just a quick trivia question. Where is Israel? What continent?
Africa.
Asia?
They call
Who
it
says Asia? I heard Africa. I heard Asia. Anybody for Europe? Anybody? Asia. North America. Asia is the correct answer. Asia is the correct answer. What was the result of the 6-Day War? The result of the 6-Day War. The result of the 6-Day War. Say it loud.
Israel became a state.
Israel became a state. Absolutely. The 6-Day War took place in our generation. Took place in 1948. May 14, 1948, from British Mandate of Palestine, Israel is reborn. The Declaration of the Independence of Israel as a nation. Now, we're going to go back. Now, we're going to go back to the period that I heard a few people call out that there was a split in the kingdom. Absolutely there was. And that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at that split that took place. In 1920 BC, under rule of Jeroboam, what was once one nation became two. So under the rule of Jeroboam, what was once one nation of Israel, one people, they had one king, one ruler, one set of laws, one calendar, everything. They were split and now became two nations. You had the northern kingdom. They were called Israel. They were also called Ephraim. They were also called Samaria. And the northern kingdom, of course, that was also another nickname for them. So the northern kingdom, Israel, Ephraim, or Samaria, all referring to the tribes that went to the north.
Right.
When the kingdom was split. Then, of course, if you have a northern kingdom, you have a
King.
southern kingdom. So the southern kingdom was also known as Judah, or the southern kingdom. So when you heard them referring to, and this is also because what we like to do is teach even how to study Yahweh's word. So you will see these things throughout the scriptures. And remember this is very important to remember, that when Israel is used, he's either referring to the northern tribes or he's referring to everybody in the kingdom. And at that point, you have to be able to read for context to understand what he's talking about. And then if he says Judah, then he's speaking to the southern kingdom and those tribes that went to the south. The two kingdoms of Israel. The northern kingdom consisted of the following tribes: Reuben, Simeon, Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Ephraim and Manasseh made the tribe of Joseph or Joseph. And then there was part of Levi also included in it. The southern kingdom consisted of Benjamin, Yehudah, and again a part of Levi as the Levitical tribe. And one thing to remember and keep in mind is that Levi was, the Levitical priesthood was not given land inheritance. So there was a differentiation when they were making land inheritance. They weren't just talking about the sons of Jacob. They were talking about how they were going to split up land. And so since Levi was not included in the splitting and dividing of the land, his count is a little bit different. In 722, the Assyrians came in to northern Israel. Okay? In northern Israel. Who was in northern Israel? The 10 tribes or the 2 tribes? 10. Exactly. So, the Assyrians came in and they took over that land. And even more so, they enslaved the people that were there. And even more so than that, they disseminated those people. So, who in here knows what tribe in Africa they come from? Alright. That's an example of what happened as a result of the Assyrian captivity.
Exactly.
They don't know where they came from because they were sent and shipped everywhere. Remember I said, keep in mind the things that Rabbi taught about. One of the things he showed us was that we always thought, well, you know, they went to Africa and brought all the slaves here. No. He showed us by percentage that the Americas wasn't even the greatest amount of, that received the greatest amount of African slaves. So they were sent all over the place. That's what happened in the Assyrian captivity. It began in 722. Who knows when it ended? It never ended. They never came out of Assyrian captivity. Why? Same reason we're still here in America. We have the choice to go back. But we will never, as an entire race of people, say we're going to leave the Americas and go back to our native land, go back to our native tribes and all of that. Biggest reason, we don't know what that would be. Next reason, we've been here for how long? Over 400 years? It's not happening. So, that gets us to now something that took place in 586 BC. This is when now the southern kingdom, they went into Babylonian rule. So the Babylonians came in and took captive those tribes that were in the southern kingdoms of Israel. In 539 BC, the Babylonian rule ended. So that was very much similar to what we saw in Egypt. Because remember, they went into Egypt as a nation. They came out of Egypt as a nation. There was a lot more of them, but they knew who they were. They were not disseminated. They were not sent out. They weren't sold and sent away or anything. They were all right there and enslaved and mistreated together. That's what happened in the Babylonian captivity as well. So in 47 years later, they were able to come out of Babylonian captivity. Now, that's a big difference, right? The southern tribes. Who did we say were in the southern tribes? Benjamin and Yehudah, and part of Levi. Who are the Jews? What tribe was Yeshua from? Yehudah. What tribe was Paul from?
Benjamin.
So it's obvious that they're trackable, right? Well, that's because, again, they went into captivity as a nation. They came out of captivity as a nation. They retained their identity. But what happened to the northern tribes again in the Assyrian captivity in 920? What happened? 722, I'm sorry. In 722, they were dispersed. They were sent, they were sold, they were married in, they were children taken and separated from families. So what we had there is a complete and total diaspora. They were dispersed. All right, let's go to 2 Kings. We're going to do a little bit of reading. So I want you to have some context behind what we do. We know that we are students of Yahweh's Word and not just readers of His Word, not once a week readers, but we are students. So we're going to read a few verses to get context and understand where we are. All right, we're going to start at 2 Kings. We're going to start at 2 Kings, the 20th chapter, starting at the 16th verse, and we're going to read down to the 18th verse. 20, 16 through 18. And Yeshayahu, or Isaiah, said to Hezekiah, I'm sorry, hear the word of Yahweh. See, the days are coming when all that is in your house and what your fathers have treasured up until this day shall be brought to Babel. No object is to be left, said Yahweh. And they are going to take away some of your sons who are to be born to you, whom you bring forth, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the sovereign of Babel. Who is this talking to? The southern or the northern tribes?
Northern.
Babylonian captivity took place where? North or south? Judah and Benjamin, right? And part of Levi, which is the southern kingdom. So we're reading here in Isaiah about, or Isaiah is prophesying to the southern kingdoms. And the giveaway there is, he says what? That see, the days are coming when all that is in your house and what your fathers have treasured up until this day shall be brought to Babel. That's the Babylonian captivity that's being prophesied right there. All right, let's jump over to chapter 21, and we're going to read from 14 to 16. So 14, 15, and 16. So what tribes are we talking about? North or south? South. All right. So here we go. And I shall forsake the remnant of my inheritance and give them into the hand of their enemies, and they shall be for a prey and for a plunder to all their enemies, because they have done evil in my eyes and have provoked me since the day their fathers came out of Mitzrayim, even to this day. And also Manasseh shed very much innocent blood, until he had filled Jerusalem from one end to another. Besides his sin with which he made Yehuda sin in doing evil in the eyes of Yahweh.